The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Reaper Apparel offers a casual line of superb fit, finish, and comfort. We design for those who refuse to die slowly and choose to live untamed. For those who aren't afraid to face the dark, for the ones that thrive in it, and for those who can appreciate life through a grim lens. That's Reaper Apparel Company. Go to the link in the description of this episode, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my own personal merch store, the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. I have hats, I have t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, water bottles, notebooks, you name it, I've got it. The description and the link for that will be in the description of this episode. Also, right now, if you use the promo code WELCOME, I will give you 5% off of your first purchase. That's the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood, all American-made apparel, which helps support the Second Amendment. You can also find all this in the description of this episode with the link, Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed does go to helping veterans, as it is a very good cause. All American-made products made right here in Minnesota. Go and check them out. Use the promo code PATRIOT15 to get 15% off your purchase. Now, let's start the show. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is, as always, your host, Mike Bono. I got a great episode for us today. It is becoming an annual tradition for us to be doing this. I am so happy to have these guys back on here. From the Mount Carmel Club in Lowellville, we are going to be talking to Zach. I'm going to butcher his last name, Harklerode, and his couple of his buddies. I'm going to let them introduce themselves here. We're going to be talking all about the Lowellville Italian Festival coming up here in July. So, Zach, if you want to take it away, go ahead and introduce the guys that you got with you this time.
Yeah, cool. Zach Harklerode. It's kind of like a street name, Bono, for your street name, Harklerode. I got my vice president, Raymond Carlson, over here, and I got our recording secretary, Michael Romeo, hanging out in the back with us as well.
Nothing like getting to talk to a bunch of paisans. I love these type of episodes for sure.
Gary or something. I have a better name than recording secretary. That's what you get.
That's what you're getting. That's what we're rolling with now. He's just going to be rolling with it forever. Recording secretary. So this is
no choice.
Yeah,
I didn't either.
So the third year in a row we've gotten to do this for you guys here for the festival. So, talk a little bit about the history of the festival. And, Zach, if you want to answer that, or whoever knows more about the festival, go ahead and tell us a little bit more about the festival for the new listeners out there.
Yeah, so I'll let Michael jump in here in a little bit because he's probably got the most festival experience out of the group. But as far as the history of it goes, the society is 128 years old this year. Second oldest social club in the United States. And every year we've been here, we've had some version of a festival. So it's really just an opportunity for the whole town to get together, for us to celebrate a little bit of our Italian heritage, a little bit of our, mixed with a little bit of middle of nowhere Ohio lifestyle, mixed with just street fair. It's a real event. Like I said, it's been going on since well before me. Michael, you were around.
Yeah, so 1895 it started, but some of the historians have said that 2 years prior to that, they were having like a gathering around the 16th of July. And it really kind of turned into, okay, the Mount Carmel Society was formed in 1895. And they would use the houses around here, and they would do, the vendors were people cooking out of their kitchen. We see a lot of that, like when we go to Italy and stuff. And, it turned into what it's done. We've always been known for our fireworks. As far back as the early 1910s, they were shooting some sort of form of fireworks also. And the biggest thing was a couple years in, they started baby doll dance. And honestly, if you haven't seen the baby doll dance, I can't explain it without you thinking it's terrifying. So it is terrifying when you see it.
Like from the outside, it is terrifying. It's a real serious thing because we have to watch it every year to ward off the evil spirits.
Yes,
if that makes any sense. Like it's not, hey, fireworks on a baby doll. It's like, oh, that's cool. We feel a certain way about it, that it's our new year.
Cleansed.
Yeah, cleansed, new slate, new year. Everything that we did in the past is gone, forgot about. Let's start it off right. I mean, we're drunk at the time. We started off with a hangover.
That's the only way to start over, is with a hangover. That's the only way to get all those
T-shirt.
To get all those demons out of you. You know what I mean? Just watch it.
People, like, there's a class at YSU that this was the topic for the first 2 days, professional ethics with Gabriel Palmer. He's talking about how do you separate tradition from mayhem. And he's like, there's this baby doll. My wife's arm catches on fire, and people are cheering, not putting it out, cheering. It's an honor to get burned by the baby doll. We've all been burned. You have to get burned by the baby doll.
Oh, man, everyone's been burned. But, I mean, that opens up a new thing where it's tough now because it's a different age than what they used to do back in the day. Father Dulish put it perfectly in a homily that he did maybe 2 years ago. Like, back in the day, Mike, it was... I mean, it still is, but it started as a celebration of life. They came over on a boat. Our ancestors, our grandparents came over on a boat from Italy, the travel time, the rough seas, and they get here and they have jobs. And the festival was a celebration of life, the fireworks, a new year, a new start. So trying to keep that mentality alive in today's generation is really what we're just trying to do.
That's awesome. I say this every year. My schedule just hasn't been able to allow me to come to the festival. I got to make it out to this festival, and I'm hoping my schedule will allow it this year. I'm going to try to make it to see this baby doll because you guys keep talking about it, and I have to see this baby doll and these fireworks because it sounds phenomenal. But
yeah, I can see all the evil spirits. Right now, you got to ward them off.
Dude, there's
all
so
those
many.
evil spirits.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're
There's all the charms are only taking me so far. I got the Maluk and the Italian bullhorn that never come off, and it's not enough. I'm sure. Right. Yeah, I'm sure everyone has that. And, it's you mentioned it. And the tradition about it and. Is that what you're trying to bring out in the festival, is just highlighting the traditions, or is it just more of the celebration of the Italian culture?
So it's kind of both because the festival's made up of two kind of completely separate things. Sometimes they overlap depending on the calendar, but basically it's July 16th, which is the feast day of the Our Lady of Mount Carmel Day. That's our celebration of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, of the Virgin Mother, that's our religious, our Italian celebration of.
Because they're really 2 in 1, the
so
celebration.
It's always around that 16th. Like, that's our main focus. That's when all the membership, we proceed to church as a group, we proceed through town, and that's like the first main part of it. The festival falls typically around that. So like this year, for example, the 16th is on a Sunday. So on Sunday the 16th, that's when we're going to have our more traditional-based celebration. We'll do the red wine. We'll wear our colors. We'll proceed to Mass. We'll go through town. And then following that is when we'll actually have the festival, which is more of the celebration of life. Everyone's here to have a good time. It's when family comes in from out of town. It's when, at least in our community, I would say 90% of class reunions take place during the week of the festival because people are going to be in town anyway. So there's going to be people celebrating 10-year, 15-year, 20-year, 50-year class reunions during that time. So it's a good mix of both. We highlight the traditions, but also we want to make sure that, even if you're not a member of the club, not a member of the community, not Italian, not Catholic, there's, it's still a great time, and it's still Good food,
good fireworks, band, entertainment, Mark Carmel Band, another pillar. You have the baby doll, you have the fireworks, you have the church, our saint that we march through, process through the village. But we also have the Mark Carmel Band that has been, one of the 3 or 4 pillars that makes up the Mount Carmel Society in this festival. They play every night, old Italians who everyone used to play instruments back in the day. Old men, old women, clarinet, saxophone, and they still keep on that tradition, to this day, which is, like I said, another pillar of this, community and this club.
It goes back to, like, we've been lucky enough to go to Italy a lot, and I have family there. We have family
very
there.
simply.
Very, ideal, situation. We were able to go see the baby doll in.
Remember going over the first time, and all the similarities, like the band, oh my God.
There's a band, and there's this. And seeing how they cook out of houses. We can tell you every vendor that is here. These vendors have been vendors for 20 years, 30 years. Some of them, the Brusa sausage and the Chinese stand
so
50, 60, 100 years. They've been here. Brusa sausage started across the street. That's a huge sausage brand. And they're here every year. And it's crazy because when we went to Italy, we got there and it was wow, the only thing we're missing here is the lights stringing side to side. And we're over there trying to figure it out. But it really brought me back and appreciating it more. The tradition, yes, but bringing the community together. Look had a rough year last year. It was a couple crazy events. So bringing us all together.
COVID too.
Yeah, that was going to bring me to my next point. The past 2 years we've done this show for you guys, and the festivals happened through COVID. So what was that like for the festival itself? Because I know it's a big gathering. Nobody was allowed to gather, supposedly, and all that fun stuff that happened with COVID. So what was that like, trying to get through the standards?
Our board and stuff, they were on the board before me. They did such a good job of migrating it. Obviously, we weren't allowed to have a gathering. So, they came up with a plan that, hey, we have to celebrate the 16th, our 127 years, no matter what we went. But we were told we weren't allowed to advertise it. If we posted it, we were getting shut down. We all pitched in and did a baby doll, but we weren't allowed to tell anybody about it. So we didn't have really a band. We played. I played the band.
Yeah, Bobby introduced up to me. He's like, "Hey, Ray, you play snare?"
Yeah. We didn't have a band. We had a baby doll that was going to shoot fireworks. We weren't allowed to tell anybody. So what we were doing was we were like, "Oh yeah, we're having a cookout. Come on over on the 16th." But we weren't telling anybody. We went to church. We did our stuff. We never told anybody, and then it just blew up like wildfire. Where we had a baby doll that was unannounced, and we continued that tradition.
We still cooked food all week. Phil was in the kitchen with his famous world-renowned bologna sandwiches.
But the board that we had, these guys were on it. Without that, 2020 year could have killed this club. And a lot of people that weren't on the board stepped up, and we did some things, but what they did in 2020 set us up for the things we did here in the last couple of years, and it's just beautiful. It shows the love for this place
and the resiliency too for the just the traditions in general.
Yeah, we were one of the very lucky ones. Through COVID, looking back on it, when we were in the middle of it, and we're like, hey, we got to cancel this tradition. We had to cancel the 4 days. We had to, the vendors couldn't come down, but like Mike said, we made it work. And looking back on it, I say we were fortunate through it because, we still could have something to keep it going. But also there's a lot of festivals and other places around here that don't do their stuff anymore. 2020 was a year where,
Cascade Park,
you lose, you lost some organizations that just, they stopped having their festival and now they couldn't bring it back. So we were lucky enough to have the support to be able to put something on and to host other events throughout the year, more virtual events, more just fundraiser type things to allow us to get through that year. And now, quite honestly, this will probably be, as far as vendors go, this is the most vendors we've ever had at our festival. It's probably going to be the most bocce teams we've had at a festival, the most Mora teams we've had at a festival. I don't want to call it the biggest because we only have so much space, but it has the potential to be our largest gathering so far. And, we're just grateful that we got through the last few years and where we're at now.
Yeah, that's awesome because I know my hometown has, it's not like the Italian Festival, they call it Community Days back home in West Virginia, but it's kind of like what you guys are doing. Big vendors, music, everybody, the entire town goes to it, and it just brings everybody together. And then they have their fireworks display at the end of it, given not off of a baby doll, which I'm going to highly start to recommend because it's a little small Italian town in West Virginia. So we need to bring that. But yeah, they didn't get to do their community days during COVID, and it almost killed it. It almost brought that away. I'm 34, and I can't remember a time when there wasn't community days down in Fallensby. And they're lucky enough to have it again this year. And, you know, it's tough. I mean, COVID really hurt a lot of things. I'm glad to see that you guys are pushing through that and you made it work and keeping the tradition in that. So, like, how long does it take in advance to plan this festival for you guys? Are you already working on next year? Like, what are we doing?
I can answer. I can answer that for you. So the festival, it's subsequently at the same time, it's the hardest event to plan and the easiest event to plan. The reason I say that is it's a lot of the same stuff. You know, we start sending out our vendor letters and not so much applications because they all come back every year. It's more so, hey, here's your contract. We start sending those out the beginning part of the year. And so I would say you could say it's a 7-month planning period, but realistically it's a culmination of 100 plus years of just having it down pat. You know, every year we gotta make sure we get our permits correct. We gotta make sure we get the fireworks scheduled. We gotta make sure we get, you know, the porta potties and the ice and the road closed, and you know, we get our advertisements, you get our bocce plan. There's a lot that goes into it, and it's daunting at times. And I'm still now sitting here. I'm pretty sure we have it all planned out, but I keep having this feeling that there's one thing that I'm forgetting. But it's a pretty big lift. I mean, it really does take the whole membership, the village, the community. I mean, it takes, you know, for example, we'll have the spaghetti dinner going. The spaghetti dinner is basically ran by our women's auxiliary. You know, we couldn't have our spaghetti dinner if it wasn't for them. We can't have the festival if it's not for the police force around here agreeing to work security. We can't have the festival if the village doesn't agree to let us block off the road. We can't have anything if the state of Ohio doesn't give us a special liquor permit. We can't, you know, so there's a lot of things to do, but it all does come together pretty good because we've been doing it for so long. And, you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Dave Gagliano, who was our past president. He gets on my nerves an awful lot, but he's been a pretty big help when it comes to, you know, because he did it for 4 years. So he's been able to kind of guide, like, hey, don't forget. So next year should run a little smoother, but so far so good. And we've got just about every box checked that we need checked. So we're in good shape.
I mean, really, it was a week after the festival. Because, like, the immediate week after the festival, we don't want to talk about the festival. We don't want to be down here. Like, we're burned out, especially, like, our core group. And then it was, like, 10 days later, we were like, so, next year. We're sitting on the deck over here. We're like, next year, we're going to do this. And we're 2 years away from 130. And, like, you know, it's always on our mind. But, you know, we have a great group of people that are like our core group that just step up when they need to
and have a blast together. We do. Dude, we had so much fun down there doing it. I mean, it's work, but at the same time, you know, we're just trying to keep our Italian heritage alive, you know, and having a good time. It really does, you know, during the festival, I always try to take a trip like around the rides and like around the kiddie park, you know, and see the kids jump on the carousel.
Or like, you know what I think about it? Like, like that was us.
It's so rewarding 30 years ago. Hop on and have a good time, you know, all the smiles, watching court, you know,
for me, it's when they're coming across the bridge and their kids are trying to run across the train tracks, and it's like
okay, this is why we do it. And you know, the weeks leading up to the festival, calling off work, taking vacation time, you know, to come down here and slave away, and you're like, man, why do we do this every year? You know, but then the festival comes and you see the kids and you see everyone having a good time, celebrating life, and you're like, that's why.
It makes it all worth it.
It really does.
Not even close to being on the same spectrum, but, you know, that's how I feel with comedy. You know, you have the preparation to leading up to shows, and it's just like, why the hell do I put myself through this every freaking week and every month doing these shows and putting this stuff together and new sets and trying to prepare for different venues and everything like that. But you see the laughter and you see the joy that brings people, and that ties it all back together and makes it all worth it.
You got to keep reminding yourself though, like this is why. Yeah, that's why. That's why. That smile over there, that little kid with
in the winter when a hot water tank.
We're at this freaking place. God.
And you look back and see those guys in the back of us that were like, wow, they came over from Italy. Yeah. They put down the roots during, went through the Depression, all the years that they went through and never stopped. Mm-hmm. We can do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. But one thing that I keep thinking of is this big firework display that ends the night off of the baby doll. Like, even forgetting the baby doll and everything like that. Like, where did really the fireworks come from? Is that just the celebration part of it, or is there something along the lines with that big firework display?
They used to do it you've got to think in those days there was no permits or anything. So they would go up on the hill at the end of our festival grounds and just shoot fireworks off.
My brain shattered.
Not like little firecrackers.
Was great.
Yeah. I mean, they did it.
Back when there was no regulations, they just blew it up. Mm-hmm. Car horns going off, like Grandpa telling us about.
Yeah. But that was the thing that they found. Okay, there's a person that can make sausage, there's a person that can make pizza and pasta and Chinese food. Well, now we're going to go shoot fireworks off. And actually, what would we say, 3 or 4 years? The baby doll came in, 3 years? It was like 2 or 3 years after we started. They did fireworks. That was their thing. Fireworks have always been a part of it. And other than 1 year during Spanish flu, and obviously 2020, the Spanish flu and the coronavirus, those are the only 2 years we didn't do fireworks. And it's crazy because it just shows think about the Great Depression. Nobody had money. Nobody was working. The war years. They were having fireworks. And that's something that
celebrating life.
That's something we're blessed to be part of it. And I told Raymond and Zach last year during the middle of the festival, we were sitting there last night, burned out, want to go home. And I was like, you remember when we were kids and we'd see our grandparents or cousins or whoever running this? We run the festival.
It's not just called Grandpa.
Sorry, Grandpa. We don't yell as much.
No, the fireworks are definitely something that people, at least in the community, they really look forward to. And even outside, we get a lot of people down here on Saturday just for the fireworks. Zambelli, they've been doing them. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong. We were their first contract.
Yeah. They've been members.
And they've been members. They've been a big part of this club, and we've been using them since we've been, ever since they've been around, they've been doing fireworks for us. So,
and it shows to them too. So obviously in big corporations, you have different corporations do it. Zambelli has been owned by different, family members. Now they're bought by another company. They still go out of their way to accommodate us because let's be real, the firework display that we have, and I'm not knocking anybody, and don't get mad at Zambelli for me saying this, our firework display is second to none. I mean, they do presidential shows and stuff. What we do here rivals any firework display in the whole area that I've ever seen. There's never been. Italy was probably the only one that I ever thought was better, but they were blowing things up in our face.
This one's down in Bovalino.
Yeah, on the water. Yeah. Zambelli, I remember as a kid, Mr. Zambelli eating lunch here. We do our procession, then we have a dinner with cold cut sandwiches and stuff here. Everyone drinks and enjoys life. He would come in. Here's a guy that's doing the president's firework display show at the White House. And he's sitting over here eating with us. So it's wild.
That's amazing because
one other thing I want to add.
Yeah.
All these events that we have that Zach puts on and, Raymond helps with, we all help with, but Zach put on his first event was the Derby Day. And we were doing chuck-a-luck, we're doing this thing. And, losing $3-4 in blackjack may seem like a, little minute thing. I kept telling people, well, thank you for your donation. That paid for half of one of our bombs. Half of one of our fireworks. Inflation's up right now. So you support supporting that fireworks display.
Yeah. That's awesome. And, I love to see the festivals like this. Now, have you guys been to any other festivals, to maybe Italian festivals, to try to get ideas for your festival, or is you pretty much have your plan set and in stone?
I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to say it without being arrogant, but I mean, we make the circuit. We like to support. There's a lot of really great Italian fests around here. I mean, Downtown Italian Fest, Youngstown Mount Carmel, Briar Hill Fest. I'm sure I'm missing a couple, but they're all really, really great festivals. But I would say, I'll put it this way. There's a guy coming in from Italy this year. He's a professor over there. He's from the area originally, but he's lived over there for the better part of 2 decades. And his PhD studies basically focused on Italian communities outside of Italy. These folks who immigrated out of the country and settled. And he's coming down this year to shoot a documentary on our festival because he said that it's, in his experience in Italy, it's the most authentic to the culture and most resembles what they do over there. So we do our own thing, and it's, I think that I would say that people probably take a little bit of what we have to try and make it a little more authentic. And we definitely appreciate it, but there's definitely a reason why the documentary's focused on our festival. It really is the closest you're going to get to being over there.
The procession through the village, going to church, because Mike, at the end of the day, it all really stems back to the Feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. July 16th, every single year, the tradition behind that, marching the saint that is older than this club, older than the traditions, that came on a boat with them, with our ancestors, with Pietro Perone, who helped start this club, 130 years old that saint is. So that tradition is similar to, when we go over to Italy, they do the exact same thing.
Yeah. To a T. We watched the baby doll dance in Intodaqua, right? Right?
Yeah.
In Intodaqua, we watched the baby doll dance. And just like something we would do, they light their baby doll on fire. They're sparklers. Yeah. They're betting on how long the guy is going to stand in it before he has to jump out.
Before he has to throw it off.
Yeah, we don't burn ours to the ground. They burn theirs to the ground. Wow. And then rebuild it next year. That'd be something I bet you he's done in 2 minutes. And we'd be throwing money down the ground.
That's exactly how it went.
But me and Ray actually saw the baby doll in Intodaqua, and it was wow.
We call it the pumbazza.
Yeah. And that's what it is.
That was typical Italians, betting on anything. That's what. just 2 minutes. Give me 5 on 2 minutes. Yeah, it sounds like something. Yeah, that would happen for sure.
Me too.
And it's funny because my wife and I we're too different. I'm full Italian. She's full Irish. We have an entire wall in our living room that is dedicated to the Italian and the Irish heritage and how we came over to America and all the struggles. There's an entire wall with pictures and everything like that and newspaper clippings and everything like that. And I hate to say it, there's more Italian than Irish. That's what it seems to be like on the wall. And I tell her now, she's becoming Italian by association. There's no way we're going to say that she's Irish. Yep. But that's just, seeing the traditions and everything like that. It's something, like I said, I need to be able to get there. And I'm hoping, I know we're recording this well before the festival even happens, but I'm really hoping that I can make it out there to see this festival this year. I'm really going to do what I can.
What's holding you back? You need us to clear your schedule?
Yeah,
we'll take care of
it. Maybe. I might actually need that to happen.
Just give us some names.
You're like, wait a minute, isn't that the guy that's from my podcast walking into my work?
What are you doing down here?
Who's your boss?
The Amish. I work for the Amish.
They should understand tradition.
They should. It's mainly the comedy shows that I got a couple that might possibly come into fruition around that time, but nothing's set in stone yet. So still working through the wonderful.
We'd love to have you. We see behind the scenes, see what we do every day. We'd love to have you bring your podcast for the whole event. We put stadium Wi-Fi throughout the whole thing so we can run our live streams for bocce, show the baby doll, show things that are going on. So if you're able to make it, get a hold of Zach. I'll make sure we hook you up. Like as far as, from anything from the internet, I'll put you in a hotel. We have a nice DoubleTree that I represent. So you come in.
That would be awesome. I've been talking with Johnny about this. Every year that we do this show, it's like, you know what? I want to do a live show at the festival. That is something that I've been wanting to do since we started having you guys on and promoting this festival. And I want to do it with the baby doll fire. That's what my thought process is: do the live show, but center it around the baby doll and the fireworks. But I can't just do one day. You gotta get the whole festival experience.
Friday and Saturday, because you're getting the craziness of Festival Friday on Friday, and then the traditions. Like most Lowellville people have parties on the Saturday because of the fireworks. They can watch them from home. The people that come on Saturday are a whole different group than are there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But the experience the whole week is definitely amazing too. But Friday and Saturday, if you can pull it off, come on down. We'd love to have you.
You know what? I'm going to do everything in my power to get down there this year for sure, and definitely see this, and we'll make a live stream out of it, and
we got a comedy club in Youngstown called Funny Farm, and they redid it. If you're listening out there, hire him so he can be in town for your show and then be down here for our festival.
Thank you for that. I've been trying to get into the Funny Farm for a while now.
You want to know it? I know the owners. If you get with Zach, get my number. I'll get you in Funny Farm.
My man. That's what I like to hear. All right, so
you might know we're down the right now.
No, we're serious though. No, that's not a joke. That's not a joke.
But you know how to do electrical? Get up on that pole and tie that trailer in.
We'll figure it out. I'll tell you that. We'll figure it out. But guys, we are running down near the end of the episode here. Is there anything about the festival that we haven't talked about that you want to get out there, and just anything about that, or even just the club in general for you guys?
I guess I'll start and just mainly want to make sure that we get the schedule out there. I think that we discussed this is probably going to come out after our spaghetti dinner, but our spaghetti dinner is going to be on July 9th. So it's going to be a little bit earlier than usual this year. Normally it lines a little bit closer, but we're going to have our celebratory pre-festival spaghetti dinner July 9th. Then we'll roll into our feast day. Our Lady of Mount Carmel Day is going to be July 16th as always on Sunday. We'll have Mass at 11. And that rolls us into our festival Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We start at 6 o'clock every night. If you want to come down Wednesday, Thursday, I would say is probably our best show. Is a little bit more kid friendly. So anyone out there who wants to bring the kids down, we got rides, we'll have games, we got a lot of stuff for everyone to do. Bocce will be going on every night. We'll have the Mora tournament going on Friday night with RDNA, a very popular local band down here. The drummer actually dances the baby doll now. So Friday night will be a big night. That'll be the last night of the baby doll. We typically do that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then Saturday, we'll kick off, like I said, 6 o'clock. And our fireworks show normally goes off sometime between 11:30 and midnight. So I just wanted to make sure we went through the schedule and, come on down. And if you see me, my name's Zach. Ask anyone, they'll know who you're talking about. First beer's on me.
Boom.
Right.
Everybody that's coming out. My little tip real quick, enjoy the time with your family. You never know. It's been a crazy couple weeks, but family is it. Bring your family down here, enjoy it. Enjoy the moments with your family.
That I don't know a better way to end the episode, honestly. I'm actually kind of mad I got to do sponsorship reads at the end of this after that. But yeah, that very well said. I love it when there's a good message like that to end the show. That really is how I love to end the show. I love it to help you guys out and promote the festival and all that and get the schedule out there and everything like that. But a message like that is really, I love it when the show ends like that, and this hurts to do. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. Be sure to peep all of the sponsors that you heard at the beginning of the episode. That is going to be Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed goes to helping military veterans and everything like that. Use the promo code Patriot15. Get yourself 15% off of your purchase. Reaper Apparel. That promo code will be Mike Bono, gets you 10% off. We have two new sponsors. That is W Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, podcasters alike. No jitters. It has actually replaced my morning coffee and Monster that I have in the morning, and it is phenomenal. I don't have any crash or anything like that. Also, by far my favorite sponsor that we have, and that is Shank It Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. Guys that aren't going to go out and shoot a 6 under, but we might shoot a 6 over. But we're going to have the apparel to rock it on and off the course. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off of that as well. I want to thank the guys here at Mount Carmel Italian Club there, Zach, Mike, and Ray. Thank you guys so much for coming on. This was a lot of fun. I love talking about this festival every year. As always, if you enjoyed the show, be a friend, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell them anyways. They might like it just because you didn't. That's going to do it for me, and I will see y'all next week. The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by W Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. For gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. Go to the link in the description where you can find the best energy drinks out there. Less caffeine than a cup of coffee. Also, no jitters and no crash afterwards. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my favorite sponsor of the show, and that is Shank It Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We might not go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but this is going to give us the gear that's going to help us rock it on and off of the course. Go to the link in the bio, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get yourself 10% off there as well.